Open up the old microphones. Yeah. Why not? Alright, guys. Today was one of those days. I do need to turn Linnell's microphone on. That microphone we got her, it is really sensitive, so I didn't want to buy another 286S channel strip because my plan is to buy a new board. So I don't really want to waste 140 bucks on a channel strip. But depending on when we get the new board, I may have to just go ahead and get another 286 to tame her mic down a little bit. So let me turn her up a little bit so we can hear her. That way when she talks, we can at least hear her. Okay, guys, what did I miss since last Thursday? I'm going to open the chat. That's our special guest. They came in to do a painting of me. And the first thing he told me was, it has to be happy guitars. So I tried to play the guitar as happy as I could. We have Guitar Bob in the group. If no one knows, Guitar Bob won our Fender giveaway.
Trucker Bob, not Guitar Bob.
Guitar Bob. Trucker Bob, sorry. Bob Ross is on my brain. Trucker Bob won the guitar, and I didn't really have too much time today. I did get on Discord just for a couple minutes, and I saw that Trucker Bob has already started modifying the guitar. That's cool. He's making it his own. I think he put different tuners on it, locking tuners on it, and he put a Wilkinson bridge on it. That's cool, man. Hot rod it. You've got an infinite budget because the guitar was free. So you can hot rod that thing. You know, you've got a solid base. It's a Fender. So anything you do to that, it's just going to take it to the next level. So I was happy to see that he's bonding with the guitar, that he's, you know, putting a little money in it. Not that it needed it, to be honest with you. The guitar played great. Locking tuners, they just string changes. You know, that's the thing. Zip, 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 you're done. Plus, that guitar has just a 2-point bridge on it, doesn't have a locking nut. So the locking tuners are going to help the guitar stay in tune a little better, especially since they lock. You got less string wrapped around the post, so it doesn't stretch around the post. It makes, like I said, quick string changes. The strings don't do weird things. And wow, my screen just did all kinds of weird things. I don't know if you all saw that. It went gray. We're having camera issues. We're still down to one camera, just so you guys know.
Guitar Bob said, "What the heck? You got me all excited."
Sorry, Guitar Bob. I keep forgetting we've got 2 Bobs now. Yeah, I apologize for that. Trucker Bob, when I was talking to Trucker Bob, I knew he was one of our first subscribers. And from what I understand, we were in like the 20 or 30 subscriber point when Trucker Bob actually subscribed to the channel. So, what can I say? Someone that really subscribed that early on in the channel's history, for that person to then turn around and win our really first big giveaway, it was definitely in the cards. When we did the test stream, his name just kept popping up. It was so hilarious. And then the following night when we did the real drawing, so it was meant to be. I'm happy that he's bonding with it. I'm happy he's putting hot rodded parts on it. He's making it its own. 100%. If you can't tell, I got Linnell's guitar out again. I do this particular guitar. There's just something about it. Well, one, this guitar is like really light, okay, and this one has the matching headstock. So they put the veneer on the headstock. Now the S model she has, I like the way that guitar plays too. Don't get me wrong, but this one here just has something about it. You know, sometimes you just find that guitar and you just like playing it. Everything about this guitar I like. I like the sounds it makes. I like the feel that the guitar has. So I took it out, polished it off, and said we're going to play this one tonight. I do still have her S model right over here hanging up. And what's funny, the area here now is kind of 50-50. She has 1, 2, 3. She has 3 guitars out here. I have 1, 2, and I have 3. So we do have 2 guitars that are in this room that are just here visiting, that will be leaving as soon as I get them sold. One of them is our hot rodded Firefly FFDC with the P90s in it. Again, if anyone needs to know anything about that guitar, I put CTS full size pots in it, lemon drop caps in it, put a pure tone jack on it, and Dylan Talks Tone P90 pickups in it, and we put Koto locking tuners on it. So that was content for the channel. It still needs the knobs, and I still need to put the scratch plate on it. So if anyone's interested in that guitar, it's just whatever I have in it. All my labor's for free. So if you're into double cut slab guitars, you might want to reach out to me, and let's negotiate some numbers on that one, because the content's almost done. So we're going to get that one done, and we're also going to sell 1 or 2 more. I was planning on working on our Firefly tonight, guys, with the bridge. I did get some posts, but since we're down a camera, I can't set the other camera up to change angles to work on the guitar. I spent about an hour tonight, and what's basically happened is my Mevo cams, OBS will only see one wireless camera. The other one has to be hardwired. Well, Mevos are wireless cameras, so I don't remember what I did 10 months ago to get the Mevo to run through the wire, for the computer to detect it as a wired camera. So it's only detectable now as a wireless. If someone knows how to get your Mevo to be wired to the computer like a webcam, please reach out to me. I don't remember how to do it, and the app doesn't have wireless or wired option. So I thought you turned it on and pushed the button and it would flash and it would convert it to wired mode. That doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I'm probably going to have to uninstall it and reinstall it to get my cameras back up and running. So today, if everyone knows, it is Saturday. So I did go to my local music store and we browsed around a little bit, and I don't know if you guys have seen I think it's Eric, is it Eric Johnson? That's not Eric Johnson. He plays a lot of like jazz fusion or rock fusion. It's Nick Johnson has a Schecter model. I always thought the Nick Johnson Schecter model was really expensive. They have a Nick Johnson Schecter model in there at like $800. So did Schecter release an import version of that guitar? I didn't pick it up off the wall and flip it around and look at it, but I'm assuming that they have now made an import version of that guitar. I am really curious to play that guitar. I may reach out to Shenandoah Music and see if I can bring that guitar home for a review. It's a cool guitar. This one's blue. It looks nice, and it's Schecter. So Schecter has a pretty good, they've done pretty good on the channel. I did do a review on the Sun Valley Super Shredder. That one did have some problems, but the other Schecters we've reviewed on the channel have done well. So I would, if you guys are interested in that guitar, we might be able to convince them to let me bring that one home. I'm trying to think of anything else they had there. They have a red Ibanez with a hardtail there that's neck through, and it's been there for a while. It's got a real pretty like translucent red finish on it, and it looks cool. The guitar is like $1,399. That's another interesting guitar. Again, I did not pick it up and play it, but I know it's been at the store for a while, so it doesn't seem to be grabbing too many people's attention. It is a hardtail, but I don't think that would hurt the guitar. A lot of people like hardtail guitars. It's neck through.
I don't know what's up, but your screen goes gray now and then.
Yeah, we're definitely having computer issues, guys. It's been a while. My computer's in bad shape. We lost the camera. So tonight, instead of running wired mode, everything is running wirelessly. So I predicted problems like what you just saw right there. It's the wireless camera. It will not detect it as a webcam now, where it's wired to the computer. So Mevo works by connecting to your router, okay? Then the computer sees the router and it sees it as an input signal. It's a horrible camera system. It might be great if you're live streaming and you need to set up really quick and you have 3 cameras, but the app, it was designed to work through your phone. So they really don't have an app for your computer. So even though I bought the starter pack with 3 cameras, I've only been able to ever get 2 of them to work simultaneously without using the app on the phone. Once you use it on the app on the phone, what the computer sees is one input. Because it's the app on the phone controls it. So then you select the camera by the app on the phone. I don't want to do that. I want to control it through OBS. So if you have a YouTube channel and you're running OBS and you're thinking about Mevos, don't. Just don't do it. Not until they actually come out with a program designed to run the cameras on the computer, maybe through your Wi-Fi on the computer. Now they do have a dongle, but it's like $50 per camera. And I know you don't need it because I had the one camera hardwired to the computer. So if you guys can live with the camera problems that we're most likely going to have tonight, it's because they're running wirelessly. I cannot get them to detect through the wire input. So I apologize for that. Am I missing anything else, hon?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Avery's turning into a zombie. That's what Zach Zombie said. Yeah, we're having growing pains. I bought the Mevos. The Mevos weren't cheap. You know, I heard all these great things about them, you know, and no one actually said that you couldn't run them direct, like plug the USB cable to them and have them detectable by the computer. Even now, go back and watch the Mevo on YouTube, you know, all the reviews. They kind of skip over that. So I was under the impression that they would work. And when I spoke to my Sweetwater rep, he didn't say anything to me about it either, and I told him what I planned on doing. And when I received them, I actually didn't use them for, they sat here for 6 or 7 months before I even started using them. I didn't start using the Mevos until I put in OBS, and that would have been the first of the year. So they might be great for doing multiple person live streams with a basic setup where everything's controlled on your phone and you're just doing a basic stream. They might be great for that. But doing what I'm trying to do with OBS and 2 or 3 cameras, they just don't work. Now the picture quality seems to be good. Now, what I don't understand today, I'll give you a little backstory. All day today I've been shooting video. Literally, since 8 o'clock this morning, I shot video all day except for the 2.5 hours that we left the house to go to Shenandoah Music. Excuse me. So today I tried a new experiment. I normally, if you look, where's it at? Right here. This is one of my GoPros, and this is a battery pack for it. So if you use the batteries in the GoPro, they get hot and they turn off. So what I've done is I pull the battery out and I use this battery pack, and you have to use USB-C to USB-C. Plug it into the camera and they will run for about 2 hours, and also have the metal small rig case which displaces heat. So that fixes it, okay? Quality's pretty good. So this is what I normally use when I do videos. So I had both of my GoPros running, and I took my one wireless Mevo, which you guys are seeing now. And OBS has a record function. So I figured, well, I have my Yamaha THR-10 set up for streaming. So on this demo, I said, well, why don't I just use the interface this time instead of having open mics in the room? Try something new. And then I thought about it. I said, well, wait a minute. I've got a record function in OBS. Let me put an OBS camera, the Mevo back here. I'll record it in OBS and also have my 2 GoPros going with the mics on the GoPros. And what I've seen in the recording function in OBS, the picture quality is nowhere near what I'm seeing on the screen now. So I may need to go into the settings of OBS and change the resolution. Maybe that has something to do in record mode. Again, if someone knows, please post below or reach out to me on Discord. I did notice that there's a huge resolution difference in record mode in OBS using the same camera, which really makes no sense. It's the same camera. If I'm getting this resolution now when I go to record, I should get the same video quality, but it's not. It's not the same quality. So hopefully I'll at least get the audio and guitar stuff from the OBS files and then mix it with my good video footage on my cameras, as long as I can get it all to sync up. So since I spent all day recording, that means there's something, coming up. And I'm still working on the, the Donner video. The past 2 weeks, guys, have just been swamped at work. The Donner video is in VSDC. I just haven't finished it. So that video is coming as well, plus everything that I shot today. And it's a collab video that I'm working on with another channel. And he's supposedly going to launch his video. I think he's going to talk about it at the end of the week. So I think he's going to launch this weekend. So that might put my video out not next week, but the week after, maybe on a Monday or a Tuesday. I don't know. I have to reach out to him, find out exactly what day he's going to do the launch, and then I was going to do mine the following day or the day after, if that makes sense. So we've got a lot of stuff coming, and I apologize again for the video. It keeps doing the gray thing. Do we have any questions, hon?
No, I haven't seen any.
Okay, since we don't have any direct questions, let me pull up. Let me see what I can do here. I need to pull this up like that. Sorry for this, guys. I'll go back to OBS. Okay, here's our Discord server. Oh, and that's not the one I wanted. So here's our Discord server. These are questions, and Birdman's put a question. He's talking about 1950s wiring versus modern wiring. And it kind of goes on here. He's talking about tone bleeds. Where do tone bleeds fit in? Plus tone deletes, okay? And why would you choose one over the other? But this would take up half the show, or a whole show, he said. And then he has another post, Avery as in tone delete from the neck pup per Zach. So I'm going to take this as he's putting there's no tone control on the neck pickup, but there is a tone control on the bridge pickup. Guys, just so you guys know, everyone has something that they're really good at, okay? What I feel my strong points are is fixing guitars, okay? And that doesn't mean every aspect. Yes, I do custom wiring and stuff like that, but my strong points are in fret dressing, fret leveling, refrets, neck repairs, headstock repairs, stuff like that. Neck shimming, neck pocket corrections, I don't know how to put it. I'm better at that. When it comes to the electronics and pickups, I'm fine with it. I've been doing it for years, but I feel my strong point as far as knowledge and what I can really share to you guys is going to be more on if you want to reshape your neck. Do you want to, dress your frets? Do you want to shim your neck? Do you want to cut your nut? Do you want to change your bridge or put shims in the bridge or correcting fluid rose bridges? Stuff like that. When it comes to wiring, there are so many different ways that you can wire a guitar. We can let's first get into the pros. Okay, sorry. Got a bad tooth right here, guys. Been bugging me. A tone bleed. There's two ways to look at it. If you like tone bleeds, then you know what they do. A tone bleed, what it does is when you roll back the volume on your guitar, okay, everything we talk about in guitars is kind of like our term is not correct, if that makes sense. Just like everyone calls what that guitar has a tremolo. It's actually not a tremolo, it's a vibrato. A tremolo changes the volume of your guitar, does this. A vibrato changes the pitch of the guitar. So when you say, oh, I'm going to replace my tremolo, it's technically not a tremolo. It's technically a vibrato unit. So when we talk tone bleed, it's actually not bleeding your tone. What it's doing is it's keeping your tone. Because as you roll your volume back, you'll notice your tone on your guitar kind of changes. So it kind of offsets what your volume knob is distorting or losing as you turn the potentiometer down. It's like magic or fairy dust, if that makes sense. It's adding something else to the circuit though. So as the volume turns down, it creates a resistance, okay? That's adding something to the circuit and you lose tone, you know. So when you put a tone bleed in, it's supposed to offset that and it keeps the sound, the tone of the guitar, supposedly more even as you turn the volume down. But now you've introduced more components in the signal path. So there's some people that would say, you want the best sounding guitar, you want this guy wired directly to that amp. Just direct. You know, maybe a volume knob. That's it. They don't want anything in there. They don't want any switches. They don't want a cap. They don't want tone bleed. They just want as basic as possible. They claim the more stuff you put in here, the more it just kind of makes it sound like it's down in a hole. Is there truth to that? I would imagine. You know, it's like anything else. If you start running your signal path through a bunch of stuff, by the time it gets to the end, of course it's altered. But remember, you're putting it through all that stuff to alter it. So you can't have just a volume knob if you've got, you know, two pickups and you want to switch between pickups. You got to have some kind of switch in there. You got to be able to control it. Tone. A lot of people, as they play, they like a tone knob, but you're adding stuff to the circuit. I probably played more with the tone knob in the last 3 years doing YouTube than I did the first 25 years of playing guitar. That's no lie. When I got playing in the band and on stage, 100%, let's slam on the bridge. And that's where I played. I was a rhythm guitar player. Bridge, 100%, just crank it and go. I did that for a long time. You know, as a rhythm player, sometimes I'd play in the center position with both pickups, but I very rarely ever played the neck position or anything else. Especially in the first bands that I played in, I didn't think about it. I wanted that punchy sound. And I didn't think, okay, I've got another guitar player over here that I need to share that space with. And I'm not talking about the space on the stage. I only have X width in that signal, okay? Because the drums are down here, you got the bass, you might have keys, you got vocals. So you got to find your spot. So he's playing the neck pickup, you know, tone's about the same, so we're just stepping on one another. In reality, it would have been better for me to cut some of my highs back a little bit and find my spot above the bass player and let the lead player fill in that. But, you know, when you're starting out guitar, you can call it an attitude, you can call it whatever you want to call. You want your guitar just to stand out, even though you're a rhythm player. You're like, well, he's always louder than me. You know, I never really had that problem. But a lot of bands, you got the bass player in the back, boom, boom, boom. He's like, I can't hear it. He keeps turning it up, and the sound guy's like, all I hear is bass. It's knocking the pictures off the walls, and the champagne glasses are falling off That's just how it was back then. Everyone turn up, turn up, turn up. The first thing you got to remember is you got to share the stage, if that makes sense. So this all goes back to tone and what you believe. Do I think that a bridge pickup just running into the volume to a jack is going to have less noise and less altered signal? Sure. It's going to be a more direct, honest signal for this guitar. How much do you lose when you put a tone knob in and you're going to put a cap on it? The resistance of the cap, whether it's a .022 or an 047, there's differences there. That's why it changes the tone of the pickup. You put a tone bleed on, now you're going to run it through a switch, and you got another switch, maybe it's a push-pull. By the time it runs through all that stuff back and forth, how much is it changing? This is something else to think about. If you've got a humbucker and you open your guitar up and you see the two little wires that's got the tape around it, they go, oh, well, that pickup, you can split the coils on that pickup. Well, think about what that means. That means you're going from your volume into this coil, it goes around the coil, it goes out of that pickup all the way back down to the control cavity where that piece of tape is. It's joined with the other wire, goes all the way back up to the pickup again, goes around the next coil, and then goes. But they do it because it's simple. It would be better just to tie the pickup in the side if you're that concerned about. I hear people go, oh, that guitar's a mess. Look at all that extra wire. I've also heard stories. I can't verify this because, I've wired a guitar and it looks like a rat's nest when I'm done.
Kurt said, Avery, let's be real. Most live players don't use their volume knob on the guitar. They use a volume pedal.
Yeah, that's true.
Playing with knobs live just don't work. Knobs are for the sound guy.
That is true. Where's it at? It's right there. I have a Morley volume pedal, and when I played out live, I ran my X15. So, but you still have a volume knob on your guitar. The beginning of it was the tone. Do you need a tone? Like I said, I just started really using my tone more in the last 3 years than I ever did. Like what Kurt was saying, I always did 100-100. In my X15, I controlled my lead and my boost through that. I had 2 expression pedals, and my 1 expression pedal was just for a boost. Okay? So all the way down, that was my lowest signal, output signal, or all the way up was my lowest, and then all the way down, it just gave me a little bit of boost. My other one was either for distortion, because I could set it. I could change the amount of delay, the mix, or I could set it for the mix on the distortion, or I could set it for a wah, depending on whatever my MIDI signal was and what device I was trying to control. My second expression pedal in that chain would control that. So in reality, I didn't even technically use the volume pedal to completely cut off. It was just a step on to give me a little boost when I needed to play lead. Because when the band wasn't playing, believe it or not, I did turn the volume down. But as soon as I turned it up, I was done. It was going to stay up until the end of the set, then I'd roll down, turn the volume off, unplug the guitar. And that's what I did. That's the truth. Kurt is 100% right. I think there are musicians, though, that do use their volume knob. I do. Especially guys hunting a certain sound. Maybe not the metalhead guys, but the guys playing a more natural sounding instrument where it's more of like a reverb and it's maybe some chorus. They don't have much dirt on the guitar. I think they control a lot with their volume, and I think they control a lot with their tone knob. And then another thing is your pick attack, and how you fret the instrument changes the tone. I mean, like Birdman said, this is kind of like one of those rabbit hole conversations. Everyone's going to have a different point of view of it. I can tell you, I'm here to learn just like you guys, and everyone here is on a journey. We'll call it a journey, and in that journey, you learn. Well, we hope we learn. And some people learn things before others. It's not about skill set on how well you play the guitar. I watch some guys on YouTube, they're blistering fast, but they sound horrible because they're so blistering fast, they just sound robotic. There's no feeling behind it, there's nothing. They're fast players, but that's all they are. There's no articulation to their pick. There's no bends. There's no flutter. There's no. I can't explain it. You can listen to them, and you can hear it. There's no, I guess, feeling behind what they're playing. It's just blah, and there's all the notes just scrambled out like throwing spaghetti out on the table. There it is. But then you watch some of these guys. They shred the guitar and you can feel it. You can feel the melody line. They're accenting notes. They're doing pull-offs. They got bends. They got harmonics. They're muting. There's so many things going on. That's where that term tone in the fingers comes from. And again, I never really grasped that until I started really listening to myself. When I played in a band, look that. I tried to remember not to cough into the microphone. When I played in a band, we had VHS recorders. So they didn't record very well. And then on the backside of our board, we had a little 4-track. And at one time we had an 8-track. But it was recording on such little tape. And our equipment was so bad. And it was so overgained. You couldn't tell anything. You really couldn't. So YouTube, me going back and watching guitar reviews, my live streams, and I listen to what this guitar sounds like, I try to get better. And I think I've achieved that. Am I setting any speed standards? No. I'm absolutely not. I see that I'm overgaining a little bit. I learn slow. And a lot of that's because I'm stubborn. And we're all stubborn. In one way, shape, or form. We're stubborn about something. Whether it's your string gauge or your action height, whatever it is, you go, I like this, and that's what I like. How often do we go outside the box and we try it? How often do we go back and listen to what we did when we played on Friday night? Doing YouTube it's taught me a lot. And I know it's taught me a lot. Because if you go back and watch my first videos, I listened to the way the guitar sounded. I listened to the way I play. And even the way I speak. I've gotten a little better. And that's what everyone wants to get. So if you're in that path and you're just now figuring out what I'm trying to do, like I'm trying not to lift my fingers a mile off the fingerboard, become faster, more articulate, use less energy so my hands don't get as tired as quick. I waste so much energy. Maybe some of that gives me my sound because tones in the fingers, how you attack and bend gives you that sound. So there has to be a comfortable spot that you find in your playing that's going to give you the sound you're looking for. And then when you go back and listen to it, you go, yeah, that's played correctly. I'm right. I'm getting it. And if you feel that way, then you're your own worst critic, if that makes sense. Then I think if you can make those little baby steps, you're gonna always get a little better. You know, there's so many rabbit holes, guys. And what Birdman's talking about as far as tone bleeds and stuff, I'm the first guy to tell you, 99, well, I'm going to say 90% of your tone is coming from your amp. And I like hot rodded pickups too. We just did a Jackson review and I made the comment, they're Seymours. They're going to be good. I like Seymour Duncan pickups. I can hear what that pickup does in my amp system. And I like what it does in my amp system. Is your amp system EQ'd and set up just like mine? Absolutely not. Everyone's different. Okay? Everyone's ear's different. I can hear the smoothness in a Seymour Duncan. But I can also hear the grit that these pickups have. They're not near as smooth as the Seymour Duncan. I know that. But they have a sound that I like. And I can't put my finger on it. I know these are not expensive pickups. But they do something that the Seymour Duncans don't do, if that makes sense. In my system, my rack mount rig and my little modeler that I play through, I have figured out how to get these pickups to give me the sound that I'm looking for, just like the Seymour Duncans. So when we start adding a bunch of stuff, that changes our signal. If you want to make the biggest change in your signal and the simplest thing, try to leave this, basic. Give yourself some positions to give you different single coil sounds, maybe, parallel. That does sweeten up the sound, it does. Keep your guitar like that. Get yourself an EQ pedal to go between the guitar and the amplifier. And make your fine adjustments in your EQ pedal. And if you guys disagree, that's great. I want you to put in the chat, if you wanted to make a tonal change in your guitar and you were on a budget, let's say you had $100 and you wanted to change the tone of your guitar, what's the easiest way of doing it? Is it to put a tone bleed in your circuit or change the cap? That's not the easiest because you've got to pull the guitar apart, do a bunch of soldering. In my opinion, just putting an EQ pedal between the guitar and the amplifier, you can do a lot. Okay? Is it the cheapest thing to do? No, it's probably not the cheapest thing to do. The cheapest thing to change the tone on your guitar is to change the cap. But now you've got to do some soldering. So it's a combination of everything. It's your chord. If you don't think this thing changes your tone, you're wrong. The length of your chord and the quality of your chord definitely changes the tone of your guitar. And it does a lot. When I run my wireless, I set it up for a 12-foot chord. It emulates a 12-foot chord. That's what I like. And that's just about what I always use. I always use a 10 or a 15-foot chord. When you start getting into long chords, it changes the sound of your guitar. It does. All these little things make a difference. And then what you guys hear on the back end, or what the audience hears, is a combination of the guitar, the pickups, all the electronics, the chord, EQ pedal if you've got one, your rack of effects or your modeler, if you're right, then your board, the PA speakers, and then all the bar noise. Once all that's said and done, it gets to that person's ears and he hears it. If that makes sense. That's just my opinion. If you're trying to make a change in your guitar, the easiest way to do it and make different changes would be an EQ pedal. If you change your cap, it's fixed. Unless we do what we did on Jeep's guitar, where you could push-pull and change the value of the cap of the guitar. But that's a lot of custom wiring. Okay, and you only have two different caps. With an EQ pedal, you just go down, make your adjustment. You can give it a little boost, to push your preamp if you're running tubes. There's so much you can do with it. I think past that, if you want to change your sound, let's say a good set of pickups are $200. If you've got a 112 cabinet, I would say before you change your pickups, change your speaker. Just a single speaker. Whether it's a Mojo Tone, a Celestion, an Eminence, a JBL, EV, whatever your preference is, change your driver. You're going to hear a tremendous change just changing the driver.
Birdman said while his neighbor went shopping for a bit, he cranked up the West Creek.
Did he get the West Creek already?
Apparently.
Did you get the West Creek already, or do you have another West Creek? It wasn't supposed to get to you till Monday. That's good if you got it. Then I need to know what you think of it after the setup, if that's the West Creek you're speaking of. But if you look at a pedal, you can get we're not talking about a fancy one. You're probably looking at $120 for an EQ pedal. Probably get it used for 50 or 60. You can get a new speaker for 100 to 180, depending on what you select. So I personally have 3 different kinds of drivers. I have greenbacks in this cabinet here. This cabinet here has Celestion Pentas in it. And then the cabinet in the far corner over there, that cabinet, that has V30s. The Egnator, I believe, I'm not too sure what the Egnator has in it, to be honest with you. It might be an Eminence that's in the Egnator. I don't think it's a JBL. I think it's an Eminence that's in the Egnator. And, of course, I have no clue what's in my SWR here, my bass cabinet. So that's what I would do. And if someone wants to chime in on, tone bleeds, I don't use them too often, but I think there's a place for tone bleeds. I've never wired a guitar. What the conversation in Discord was, if you've got a tone where the tone only works this pickup. Fender has done that for years, where they've got, the wiring set for different tones or one pickup. This tone works this pickup, that. I've never really custom wired a guitar like that for people. Usually I've been doing, guitars for metal, and it's been EMGs, stuff like that. Seymours, DiMarzios, Fluents. Most of those guys, like Kurt said, it's volume 100%, tone 100%, and they've got a pedal on the floor, and they're kind of controlling it off the pedal. That's just how it is. Same here, Bob. I built another one. They're having a different conversation. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. To get back to tone. Again, these are not expensive pickups, but there's something about these pickups. They have a good sound, and they sound good in the clean as well. The guitar I'll stop myself there because I can't say too much more. The guitar I was playing today, phenomenal. The second and fourth position on that guitar, it's like the stars aligned, everything's perfect. The sound, the second and fourth position, awesome. Drawback, when you go from the first position to the second position, your volume goes poof. Just one of those things. So on something like that, when you're switching, you're going to need something that you can reach down and boost that signal, because the second and fourth position in this guitar that I was reviewing today, massive signal loss in the second and fourth position. But the sound is phenomenal. I could play the second and fourth position on that guitar all day long. I mean, all day long. The first position, really, my favorites: first, second, and fourth. Um, but believe it or not, position three, awesome too. Uh, it's just a good sounding guitar, and it's not an expensive guitar. Sometimes, that, like I said, the stars align. So hopefully you guys will check out when that video comes out. You guys will agree. It sounded good in my headphones, and it sounded good in the room. So usually when I get that, I know that it's going to sound pretty good in the recording. I love this guitar. And what's sad is, out of every guitar here that we keep that's ours, this is probably the least expensive guitar that we've ever bought. Well, I'll take that back. The IYV we paid 84. We paid 250 for this one. And every time I play it, it just astounds me that someone took that back to the music store and traded it in on something else. That's a fantastic playing guitar. It sounds great too. All right, guys, we're up on our break. It says 53, so I know I've been talking a lot because my voice is already dry. If you guys want anything new as far as discussion in the second half of the live stream, please put some question marks before your question, then question and some question marks afterwards. And during the break, Linnell, or upcoming on the second half, Linnell can tell me what's going on. So let me get something to drink, guys. Tonight we're not going super long. It's going to be about 2 hour stream. Like I said, I'm crunch time on videos, so I've got to get this done working with another channel. So I'm under the gun to get things done. Plus, I've actually got a guitar downstairs too that I'm working on. So a lot going on. Anyway, let's take a 5 minute break. Let's get some snacks, as I call them, and something to drink, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, I got my drink. Still on my smoke break. Um, Comment of the night. I have to agree with Devastator. The best wireless is acoustic. Just saying. The only thing I want to hesitate Birdman on, when you look at a lot of the budget systems that have the 1/4 inch jack and there's a little transceiver, look at the guitars that you have. I have heard that in some cases, those guitars with the little transceivers on the end of the plug, on some Strat models, they don't like Strats because it goes into the body. Guitars that have an inset like the S models, like this one. So any guitar that has a screwy jack, you see how that's in the guitar? You want to make sure that the wireless can plug into the system. You know, are a lot of guitars made like this? No. But the Fender also has the exact same thing. It just has a metal plate. So you want to make sure that you look at your guitars and think about what you're buying in the future, and make sure that that wireless system is going to work. A lot of the budget systems, are made just like that. So I've heard problems with that if you're plugging it into a Strat or something like this guitar that has the jack location. Nowadays, with technology and the price point, I think Joe has one that's like 35 or $50 or something. It's ridiculously cheap. Um, if it lasts 3 or 4 years, there's the technology is getting so good and they're getting so small. I have a rack mount wireless system, and I can show you the transceiver on that one. Let me grab that for you real quick. Mine uses what's called spread spectrum technology. So this is my wireless system. And this is the line 6 relay. And this particular one is the spread spectrum one. I had to change this module, and the rack mount unit is able to receive that. And this one operates on 2.4 gigahertz, and it's changing, it's bouncing the signal like this. And then once it locks to this, they do it in sequence. And the reason for that is if there's a bad channel or frequency, it's only there for a microsecond, and then it's constantly changing, varying where it's at. So if there's a lot of dirt in your area as far as signal and corruption, the relay units were really good at that, especially with the updated spectrum technology units. I got this updated unit about 2.5 years ago. And the original one, I don't remember how it worked, but this one is the updated one. And this one has a little cord that plugs in, and it just runs through the strap and plugs into the jack there. And I have it tied to the guitar strap. So when I put the guitar on, everything's out of the way. I got it all twisted. So when I put it on, you can see the wireless unit is back here. Okay, and then it goes through the strap right into the wireless. So that's how mine works. But the new ones, your transceiver, the transmitter is all made into this piece, so it kind of sticks out. So keep that in mind as you're playing. That thing on some guitars like this, it's going to stick out, and you're going to have this little cube down here. So keep that in mind, especially if you're sitting down like this. that thing is sticking out right here. So as you move the guitar and you go to play like this, all right, now that unit is between your legs, if that makes sense. So you're going to have to hop over your leg. So just pay attention to how the unit's made. But nowadays, you don't have to spend a lot of money for a wireless. If you're going out and you're playing in bars with fluorescent lights and you don't know where you're playing, my advice is spend a little money. Because it is the signal to your amplifier. What we were talking about, tone bleeds and all this, if you've got a crappy wireless and it's narrow field, that's going to alter what your amplifier sees on the input side, if that makes sense. And I say that because I went through a ton of wireless units before I landed on the relay. And this was years ago. The relay had just come out. I want to say this thing was $900 back when I bought it. And the reason was I played them all. I played the Shure, I played Samson, Audio Technica, you name it, I brought it home and I returned it. As soon as I played out live with it, it was just like, this thing's awful, this thing's awful, this thing's awful. The legacy, delay, corruption in the signal, they all were awful except for this one. This one passed the Avery test. And again, technology now is 100% better. So these little tiny inexpensive wireless units, they do amazing. I already have this unit, so I'm not going to change it. It's lasted 15 years for me, and it's still up to date. There's not a new wireless that is any better than my rack mount G90 with the relay, with the updated relay module. And I actually had to order this. This does not come standard with that unit. I ordered it from Sweetwater and it took 8 months to get, because the demand on something like this is this much. So when I put the order in, the guy was like, well, I don't know if we're ever going to get those in again. And I said, well, I want to put an order in. It's on your site. You know, when are you supposed to get them? He said, we might get some in a couple months. And it literally took months for it to come back in. And they got 3 of these spread spectrum technology units. He said that they hardly sell the other units because of the new wireless systems that y'all are talking about that are $150. So, but it's still up to date, and it's older technology. You can update the EEPROM chip in that, but there's no sense on it. It works good. On stuff like that, like amplifiers, I'm a firm believer in buy something good, okay, and you won't have to replace it. My rack is proof of that. Yeah, when I bought, it was expensive.
You're getting compliments on your Kramer.
Ooh, yeah, it's a beautiful Kramer, isn't it? When you buy something good, especially if you know it's not. I'm not going to say, well, it's not a guitar. Like this Kramer. I always wanted a Beretta. I mean, when I was learning to play guitar, there were so many awesome artists playing a Beretta. And I'm like, I want a Beretta. I want a Beretta. And it took 30 years for me to get a Beretta. And I have 2 Berettas. I like them so much. I have this banana. I call it the banana. Obvious why. And I have a pewter gray one. And they both play fantastic. I like the pickup rotation, kind of changes the sound of the guitar. And simple. Volume. No tone, no switches, no nothing. Pick up to the volume to the jack. It's a Seymour Duncan JB. What else could you ask for? I mean, this is just a shred master guitar. That's what it's for shredding. I'm not a shred player, but They're phenomenal. I liked it so much I bought a second one.
Wicked Fester has the Lotus and Danger Zone Berettas.
Yeah, exactly. They made a couple versions of them. I mean, really stop and think about the Vandenberg that I have. It's basically this guitar with another pickup going like that right here. It's not the neck and it's not a center. But it's basically a Beretta. It's a super strat. They did a little detail on the headstock here, kind of angled the pickup here a little bit, and then angled the neck, or the center neck pickup, the opposite direction. Put a tone on it. It's basically a Beretta.
Jupe wants to know if you're selling this banana one, and if so, how much?
I'm going to sell one of them. I just haven't decided which one. It really doesn't matter. They both sound awesome. They both play awesome. I don't know. Have you seen the gray one, Jupe? The gray one's pretty too. It's not a slap you in the face color like this one. The gray one's more muted, more standard, but it's a pretty gray. It's not like the charcoal gray. It has a nice tone to it. It sticks out. And both of them have a nice sheen to them. I like the feel of them. They're Berettas. That's why this one's hooked up this way. This is the one I've been playing lately, or last.
Jupe says he likes the banana color better.
Yeah, this one is. When I bought this guitar, I planned on. When I played my PV out live, we took auto striping. They would stripe cars with, and we ran the striping, all like this, all over the guitar, and it looked like someone threw spaghetti on it. And I had planned on doing that to this guitar with the pinstripes. I just never got around to it. If you look at my Nitro and you get it in the light and you go like this, the striping was on the guitar for so long, the finish on the guitar dulled. And when I took the striping off, it was still shiny. So now it looks like it has like little shiny stripes through it. That's from the pinstriping that was on it for like 15 years. From being in the sun, stage lights, just age. But you get it at a certain light, you can actually see the variation in the color from the pinstripes that were on it.
You had another question during the break, which was what kind of decibel meter is that, and are you happy with it?
Actually, this is the decibel meter that you can get on Amazon. And yeah, I've had no issues with it. It's USB. It's big. This particular one, I'm going to spell it out for you. It's an SNDWAY. Sendway. So just type that in YouTube. SNDWAY. And it wasn't super expensive. I got this one because the screen was so big. And it's got two little holes on the back, so if you want to mount it to the wall, you put two screws on it and it locks down. I've dropped it a couple times because it just sits on top of the amp. It's actually not designed to sit like that, but it has a pretty decent footprint, so it does stand up. And it's heavy enough to where when you plug the jack in, it doesn't fall over, if that makes sense. But it is actually designed to be hung on the wall. It has little attachment locations on the back. I haven't had any issues with it. I recommend this one. That's the company that made it. Amazon. There's probably better out there, but this one was inexpensive and it's large. So you can see it across the room when I'm doing demos and stuff. I bought it for doing demos. That way people could see how loud my tube amplifier was when I was doing demos on guitars. It's just a little more information for the viewer, if that makes sense. Everyone knows a guitar sounds different through a tube amp when you crank it. So that gave them a little bit more information. Most of my videos, I was right around 90 to 100 decibels, according to the meter, if you go back and watch them. That seemed to be the sweet spot for how I had it set up for inside the house. Yeah, this is an awesome guitar. Yeah, reach out to me, Jupe, on Discord. I'm gonna get rid of one of them. If you want this one, that's fine. It's a beautiful guitar, and it's actually brighter in person. The camera kind of mutes it a little bit. I don't know if I can't. Yeah, it's a little muted in the camera. It's a little brighter in person. It's not obnoxiously bright, but it is bright. Let me hang it back up. I want to say those guitars now are, I think, 900. Let's look at what the Kramer's going for. Let me pull that up real quick, guys. Let me do a search. What the Kramer. Everything has just went through the roof lately, guys. I don't know. We went out today to Shenandoah Music, and we just stopped to get, something basic at the store. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just ridiculous what they want. I'm searching for the yellow one. If they still make it. Yes, they do.
Malachi wants to know if you'd be willing to trade for it.
I stopped doing trades just simply because when I'm selling guitars, we have a lot of guitars here because guitars come in for review. So when you trade something, you're usually getting something else in. We're trying to get rid of something to get another guitar in to do a review on. So here it is at Sweetwater for $800. So that's, if you guys want to check out the specs on it, it is a stupid good guitar. I mean, the Beretta was like the poster child of rock guitars. I mean, it was just such a popular guitar. So it looks like it's a 12.6 radius, maple, black dots, 22 frets, 25.5 scale length. It does have the Floyd Rose 1000. It has the good bridge. Pickups. It's the JB. And you guys know how I feel about JB. Oh, that's right. It does have a push-pull on it. I forgot about that. So you can pull. The original Beretta didn't have this right here. So the volume, that's right, it does pull up and it switches it to a single coil. So that was something Kramer added to the new Berettas. The original Beretta, you couldn't do that. The neck shape, Jupe, is probably a little thicker than what I did on your neck going back to you on the Schecter. It's just a little thicker than that one. But it has the same feel, if that makes sense, as the neck, the finish that I added on the back of your Schecter. So if you could deal with just, we're talking about a millimeter thicker, that's about the feel on it. It is a shred neck. So yeah, reach out to me. Like I said, I have two of them. Or they're gonna be going soon. Actually, we've got a couple guitars. I don't want to tell you what left. It's a guitar I said I wasn't gonna get rid of, but I did. Now I'm kind of thinking maybe I shouldn't have. Actually, there's a couple guitars that I probably shouldn't have got rid of. Devastator has one of them. I really miss my Assault. I do. The Assault. There was something about the Assault I really bonded to. But again, I have a couple guitars that I feel are my keeper guitars, like my old '86 Kramer Pacer Imperial. That's never going anywhere. My Vandenberg's never going anywhere. My Nitro's never going anywhere. I consider those my core guitars. Everything else, I fall in love with guitars, and if you're a guitar player, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily that it's new. I can pick a guitar up and go, and then I might play it a couple of times, and then I really start to bond with it. So you can get that relationship with your guitar, but then you pick something else up, and it's just something about it, and you kind of move that direction. We're guitar players. Don't say you don't do it, because that's why most guitar players have more than two or three guitars. Because we're like dogs looking at squirrels. It's like squirrel. We do it. So what we try to do is we try to find guitars that interest us in our journey. How we're playing right now, something we're doing, something that catches our eye, and that relationship comes and goes. It does. Don't lie to yourself. It does. Even my Vandenberg, I pick it up sometimes. It's like, you know, and then I'll pick it up a month from now. I'm like, that's why I like this thing. It's awesome, and I know better than to sell it because I know I love the guitar. Even though I might pick it up and I'm not really bonding with it that day, I've played it so much out live. It's just me. I think a history. Same with my Nitro. I can't, like I said, I can pick it up and not necessarily have a good night with it, but I know it's a solid instrument. I'm going to pick it up a month from now and I'm going to rebond with it because it's a solid guitar. So here, just like the Berettas, I do want to keep one because they are solid guitars. And like I said, that was one of the guitars when I was learning and I was in high school, getting ready to graduate when the Beretta hit the scene. It was like, I got to have a Beretta. But back then, they were stupid expensive. They were so expensive. Kramer just nailed the price on that, and they were holding to it because they didn't have to lower the price. Everyone wanted a Beretta, you know, and they sold. So they didn't have to lower the price. They were selling at the $1,600 price point for a single pickup, a volume. That was crazy expensive for that guitar back then. But they sold them because people wanted them. I just couldn't do it. It was too much money for me to get a Beretta back then. So now they're more affordable. So it makes it a little easier for a working class person like myself to buy them. Like I said, I liked it so much I bought another one. And my plan on that one was to add another pickup in it. And the more I think about it, I don't want to do that because it kind of takes away from what the guitar is. The guitar is a one pickup guitar, and that's what it is. That's what it does. If you don't want that one pickup shred master, this is your tone, this is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to play great, but I'm basic. That's the Beretta. And I was thinking, well, I'll add a pickup to it, I'll get some variety out of it. But that's not what made the Beretta, if that makes sense. And then there's the whole other school that people say when you start putting a bunch of pickups on it, the magnets pulling the strings and you get less sustain. So the point in the Beretta was one pickup, more sustain. Because you don't have those magnets pulling down on the strings, decreasing your sustain. Is there any truth to that? I would assume there is. It makes sense in my little squirrel brain that the magnetic field would do that to the strings. How much does it do it? I don't know. But that was the saying on it, if that makes sense. They would say the single pickup, more sustain, less pull. I don't know. If you guys have a point of view on that, you can put it in the comments section or chat about it. That's just what I used to hear. Another iconic guitar, trying to think, my Kramer Pacer Imperial. Again, when that guitar come out, it has the what's called color shift. It changes colors, and it's a factory 86. In 86, there was no way I could afford that guitar. I couldn't. I picked mine up used. and Shenandoah Music knew that I would like it, and they kind of had it in the back. And when I come in one weekend, they were like, "We got something for you," and I knew as soon as they pointed their finger at me, I'm like, "Okay, that means my wallet's gonna start screaming." And then when they brought it out and he opened it up, and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I want that," and I did. I paid decent for it. But I didn't mind paying decent for it because it's in mint condition. The guy bought it off their uncle that originally opened the store new in '86. I'll be honest with you, I don't think he ever played it. If he did play it, he played it a couple times. And it sat in the case in the house for 30 some years. So when I looked over the guitar, I can't tell it from a brand new instrument. Um, with the trans shift color, I was like, yeah, this is one that I can spend a little bit more money on because it's so good. Um, I would have no issues getting my money out of that guitar. Actually, I think I could sell it for a lot more than I paid for it. They were very generous on what I paid for the guitar, for what it is. So that transaction, I don't have an issue with. But I don't plan on selling the guitar. We, unless something happens to my job and my health, that's going to be one of the guitars that I would truly like to keep. Again, like the Beretta, I used to drool over that guitar. You know, it's a Pacer Imperial. A little bit different body shape than the Beretta, but that's fine. It's a dual humbucker model. It's a beautiful instrument. If you've watched the channel, I've played it a couple times on the channel. I don't play it very often, but when I do play it, I remind myself how good the mid '80s Kramers were. They were just fantastic instruments. They really were. So I'm fortunate enough to have one of those. I'm trying to. That's all the like special guitars that I have, if that I consider really special. I have an Epiphone Dot. Um, I like that. That's a used or an older model. And that's about it. I don't. Everything else I have is going to be within the last 5 or 6 years. So those guitars are the ones that we kind of move through, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think what else we have. The Night Swan might be leaving at some time too. I just put new strings on it. Didn't play it this week at all. I was playing the black IYV that we picked up for $80. Haven't really played the neck through IYV too much this week. Something I'm noticing with that guitar has some weight to it. Linnell mentioned it to me the other day. She goes, that guitar's heavy. And I was like, yeah, it's not too bad. So this week, you know, kind of puttering around after I picked it up a couple times, I'm like, yeah, you're right. The guitar has a little weight to it. But the guitar plays phenomenal. So, but it is a little on the heavy side. A lot heavier than the black one. And I have no idea why that is. They're basically the same guitar. One's a true neck through and one's a set neck. Other than that, I don't think there's that much difference in the construction of the guitar. I guarantee you there's a good pound difference between the two. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about that neck through IYV. It's going to be in the mid 8 pound, 9 pound range. It's not a light guitar. Are we missing anything? I see the chat windows flying back and forth.
No.
Okay, since we've been talking about how many guitars are here, need everyone post in the chat how many guitars do you actually have, and I'm gonna guess here. I'm going to include our guitars, our personal guitars, and the guitars that are here for review. There's a couple of guitars here for review that technically aren't ours, but I'll include them all. I'm going to say at least 30. At least 30 guitars in this house. So you guys tell me how many guitars do you have? I'm going to say if I was not doing YouTube, I would say if you have, and I'm pushing it at this point because I know how I am. I want this, I want that. I think I could go down and get every sound that I really need if I had 5 guitars. It would be really hard to whittle them down to 5, but if 5 guitars, I could pretty much have the feel and the sound of anything, you know, that I would actually need, if that makes sense. Trucker Bob says 7. Guitar Bob says 20. Wicked Fester is at 60. Holy mackerel! I think Wicked Fester he's gonna win he's winning tonight. So Guitar Bob's at 22. Vox has 11. Trucker Bob 7. Timothy Davis has 2. How do you pronounce that name, hon? 10 Roaches?
Yeah,
has
10
41.
10 Roaches, yeah.
That's a lot of guitars. Like Fester at 60, that's a lot of guitars. I don't even know where to put the 30 that I have here.
Pentagore has 22.
Where's Pinnacore's post? Where's that
Devastator
at?
has 15. Mikey has 5.
Oh my gosh.
Malachi has 3. Kurt has 7 guitars, 5 basses. Nicholas has 21. Kurt also has 2 acoustics.
Yeah, I'm accounting my acoustics with it. That's a lot.
Malachi has 11. C.D. Nelson has 16.
Okay, I'm not feeling as bad now. I don't even want to go over what transpired today. Yeah. Story for another stream. That's all I can say. It's a story for another stream. Yeah. Maybe next week we're going to get into... We might get into that. I went into the store today. Well, I didn't even get to the... You know what? If I keep talking about it, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, and then the other channel I'm working with might get upset, and then Linnell's going to get upset with me, and then you guys are going to want to know more, and I'll just be thrown under the bus. So I'm just going to cut it off right there. But yeah, there's probably 30 guitars here, and I have a couple that I've put work in them from doing YouTube videos that need to leave. We need to clear some space. There's actually 3 guitars right now that I'm looking at that I want to purchase for the channel. And we're still looking for our next giveaway. So I see there's 29 people here. Please, please, please let us know what our next giveaway is going to be. If we're doing a guitar, that's fine. I don't know, Devastator, if you want to start a room in Discord, or we can use the guitar opt-in room for right now and start a new thing, erase all that's in there, and let people post what they'd like to do.
There's a phone call you forgot to make.
I didn't hear you, hon.
I said, speaking of which, there is a phone call you forgot to make.
Oh, she's right. There's someone I forgot to call today, and that's regarding a guitar giveaway. I got so tied up in doing video content, I completely forgot. I did get the one phone call in with the channel that I'm working with, so I did hammer out that phone call, but I forgot about the other one. She's right. So I don't know if they're in the group right now or not.
I saw him a little bit ago.
I think they were in. I apologize if you're still in the group. I apologize. We'll give you a call tomorrow about that. There's a lot, guys. The channel's growing, and YouTube is like hungry. So there's a lot of things that we need to change here, and it's a little much for me to set up the stream and then do video and all that. So we are looking for someone that'll kind of help out the stream, maybe go in and do some clips of the live stream. I am going to start, I forgot to do it tonight, next stream, as it's streaming, it will be recorded. And we'll take that recorded information and we can chop it up and do mini clips and drop mini clips of something cool or something unique happens or someone brings up something. We definitely want to start doing that. So next week we're going to start that. So I'm looking for someone that can kind of give us a hand, someone that's good with the YouTube cards. If you notice, our channel is very basic. We use the exact same card every week. I'm not big on clickbait. I just don't believe in it.
It was Steven. He's in there. He just said that was me.
Oh, yeah, Steven. So I apologize, Steven. I really intended to call you today. Just crazy. By the time I got the video stuff done, got to Shenandoah Music, and then I sat up the stream for tonight. It just running way behind, if that makes sense. So we'll get a hold of you tomorrow. So that's about giveaway stuff too, guys. So maybe we can set up the opt-in room and you guys can go there and vote. I don't mind doing a guitar. I think the guitar was cool. We might even do a guitar and a small amp, something like that. Not together, but I would like to do maybe an amp or a pedal or something like that. We can do more than one a month if we're doing smaller stuff. We really can, especially if it's just a pedal or something. So you guys let me know what you want to do, and we'll get that set up. And of course, everything's voted on. So if we do pick out a guitar, then we got to kind of pick out what type of guitar. If we do an amp, then we got to pick out the kind of amp, whether it's a Spark or a Katana or a little Yamaha, or maybe it's one of those little amp pedals, that has a little hour in it. I think those are pretty cool. We could do something like that. And of course, we're going to do a full review on it, tear it apart, demo it, and then give it away. That's what it's about. Oh, I see the chat window moving a lot. Samuel says, I got 2 Ibanez RGs, 2 Diamondback Dean guitars, an ML, and a Razorback, 3 Diamondback signatures, a Washburn, a West Creek high voltage. I don't know what that is. A Curip style guitar and a Tease. Culprit? Mm-hmm. And a Tease. And a 90s Jackson. Well, he's got a lot of guitars too. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I've got a little bit of everything. So, I mean...
Birdman put a link in general on Discord.
Okay.
He wants you to he wants you to look at, it's apparently a it's the Q1 that Tease is working on.
Okay. I see it. I see the body. So let me pull up this, guys. Let me go back. I gotta go back. I got the wrong window up. Okay. So this is what he's talking about. That's the body they're working on. Again, guys, I haven't reviewed a Tease. I'm sure they're good guitars. They're being made overseas, just like Firefly and all the other ones. He's bringing them in. He's doing a setup and then reselling them. So I like that top on it. I was just telling Linnell, I like a burst. I like a burst on a flame maple top. But a lot of these companies have went so heavy on the burst now. This one's, I like this. They haven't went crazy with the burst. It doesn't go 3 inches into the guitar and all you see is just the dead center of the maple, flame maple top. It's got enough on the edges. You can see it's a burst. That's a pretty guitar. 100% that's a pretty guitar. It looks like single pickup. I don't know what kind of bridge he's going to put on it. It's probably a hardtail since there's no route. Looks like it's got a bore for a volume knob, and that's it. So that'll be an interesting guitar, depending on what they decide to do with it. Tease has never reached out to me. I know you guys have talked about doing a Tease. Maybe we should order a Tease guitar for review. There is a guitar on Amazon though, guys. I do want to order. It is a sub $100 guitar, believe it or not. I've reviewed their products before, and the products before were good products. This guitar though is cheaper than the last products that I reviewed for them. They don't seem to be hitting the $280 to $200 price mark now. They seem to be hitting the $90 to $110 price mark. So I'm kind of curious to see, has it just went to, or have they just cut the quality of the pickups, maybe the tuners, and the general build of the instrument is still good. I would like to bring one of those in, and it's an inexpensive guitar, so there's no reason why we can't. So I've been thinking about one of those. I'm not too sure what the T's actually go for. I'm thinking they're in the 300 to 350 price point for a good one. So again, when you get to that price point, you got to start looking at other companies like Ibanez and stuff. So not putting anything against T's. Budget guitar companies really, these larger companies, if they want to build a guitar at that price point, you're not going to beat them. You're not. They build too many guitars and have too much pull. So right now, the $250 to $350 market, I don't think they're overly concerned about. But when these budget companies like T's or Firefly, these companies that bring these over, or AIO, I think they're actually, AIO is probably already priced themselves above what people consider budget, if that makes sense. They're in the 550 to 650 mark now. That's a hard pull. And I'm not saying that it's not worth it. I'm sure the guitar is worth it. It's about name brand recognition, if that makes sense. So that's a hard battle for AIO to fight, especially now. I don't see too many people really talking about the guitars like they were 3-4 years ago. The price point has definitely started to climb, and that's their point. They bring the guitar over. It's an import built guitar. Bring it over. They do the setup work. Make sure it's 100% and then resell it.
You got a super chat from Jupe.
Ooh, thank you, Mr. Jupe. That's what funds the channel, guys, so you guys know.
He said it's for front row seat, Linnell and Cheryl guitar duo.
Oh my gosh. It might cost a little more than that, Jupe, by the time we get airfare for Cheryl to come. Unless we do the Discord thing like Devastator and I did, where we share the screen. That's an idea. We get Cheryl on Discord to go in that room, then we'll have Linnell in here. We can do a split screen just like we did the guitar giveaway. That is doable. We could definitely do that. Oh, there he is. Searching for Tone just come in. Good to see you, man. I was just telling everybody I'm about wiped out. I was recording all day. So I know he had a busy week. A lot of personal stuff went on, and he flew in last night. So I know he was sleeping really well last night when he finally got back home. So I'll leave it up to Brian to bring up what transpired.
Penagore says he wants a trio with Linnell.
A trio. So it's going to be Penagore, Cheryl, and Linnell. Okay. I don't know. We haven't tried 3 people, Penagore. I don't know if I know 2 works. Devastator and I have proven that we can do 2. You start, if 3, we might start having bandwidth issues. But I'm all about trying it. If you guys want to try it, we'll get on Discord and we will try to stream a three window chat. I think that would be comical, even if it doesn't work too well.
Penagor said no, not him. He wants you, me, and Cheryl.
Oh no! It's your idea. You have to participate. I'm just saying. I mean, you can't have a good idea like that and not participate. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, first, guys. I really got to figure out what's wrong with my camera. That's why we're getting the gray screen occasionally, because it's wireless. Tomorrow I'm going to finish up my recording, and when I get that done, I'm going to concentrate on trying to figure out why I'm stuck in wireless mode on the cameras. And then once that's done, because I know that's taking up extra computer power since it's wireless. So once I get that fixed, we'll get back to being able to do it. I did reach out to a couple channels that no one really talks about that I feel has really good content. The one channel, he doesn't do many videos, okay? But the videos that he has up as far as Kramer guitars, he's big in Kramer. If you want to know anything Kramer, this guy knows it. He only has like 40 videos, and that's amps and guitar related on his channel.
Kurt said toss the wireless cameras in the trash.
I want to, Kurt, but right now our next investment's going to be a board, and then after the board, I got to do a computer. Then after the computer, cameras. So unless something drastically changes, we're probably going to be using these Mevos for at least another year. I hate to say that. Unless the channel really takes off and more funds can come in. Cameras are expensive, and I have no interest in buying a camera that I can't time sync. I'm not going to waste any more money on these $300 and $400 cameras. I'm just not. They're all pretty much the same, and they're all horrible at something. So you're looking at about $1,500 to $2,000 for a camera body, and then lenses. I hate to say it, but to get something that can read SMPTE code and will lock in with your recording device, that you can edit properly, you're in the $2,000 per camera price range. And I know there's some other ones that claim that they can do it, but if you start looking into it and talking to people that have used them, they're just plagued with problems. So the Mevo and GoPros are what we're going to be stuck with for a little while longer, if that makes sense. Really need to update my board, and when I do that, that's going to require an update on the computer, which I need to do anyway, because editing the videos is just too hard to do with my AutoTag computer. So, baby steps. I believe we're not doing bad. The video quality tonight's not horrible. And the video quality that we had doing videos before got us to 2,000 subs. So I'm not overly concerned. I am concerned, though, when I make an adjustment on the board and my volume drops and I hear static, that causes a problem. So updating to a new modern rack mount board just makes sense. That'll enable me to be able to start using some plugins and come up to 2025. That doesn't mean I'm getting rid of my rack gear. I'm not. I love my rack gear. But need to come up to 2025, start using some of the more modern ways of doing things. And I'm sure there's going to be a huge learning curve there, guys, because I'm not. It took a couple months for me to get used to the interface, even in this Yamaha. So I got my feet wet. So now it's time to move forward and take the big dive and buy something decent, something that'll get me for the next, 10 or 15 years. This Mackie has served me for 30, so I can't complain. What else we got? I think I need another break. I'm really struggling talking. My throat's dry. Who's up for a second break? I see there's 28 people. It's coming and going. You don't have to be a subscriber to chat. So there's 28 people. Everyone at least say hi if you're in the background watching. At least say hi. We're not asking for much. Just introduce yourself. People either below or on the right of you in the chat window, they're cool people. If you would, please go down and hit the thumbs up button. It means a lot. We usually average between 25 and 35 thumbs up. We can definitely do better than that, guys. Go down, hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing. Even though I'm not making you, not forcing you to subscribe to be able to chat, we do a lot of work here. I spent all day today on YouTube working out things. So please consider subscribing. And we're going to take a 5-minute break and then we'll come back. So that gives you a chance to get something to drink, get a snack, and then you can also post the next question. So, next break. When we come back, we'll probably only do 30 minutes. So, any questions, we'll go right to those questions, and then we'll go to our 5-minute ending window. And again, Super Chats fund the channel, and they also fund the guitar giveaways. That's how we do things. We don't really have memberships here or tiers on Patreon. We're too small, and our work, it's too much for me to be able to do all that. So we're trying to keep the channel simple, if that makes sense. All right, guys, let's do our 5-minute break so I can get something to drink, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, I have put water in the machine for my cocoa. And just so everyone knows, I am a diabetic. So, yeah, I'm starting to shake a little bit. May have to end the stream a little quicker, depending on how the cocoa enters my system. This is one of those diseases that I would not wish on my worst enemy. I can't even, I can't put into words what happens when my sugar starts going down. I think the first thing that happens is there's a disconnect with your brain, and I know that happens because I've woken up at night and know that my sugar's low, and it's like so low that I know it's life threatening low. And in my mind tells me I have gotten up and I've went out and I've gotten orange juice or something. And in reality, I'm still laying in the bed. So it's a horrible thing, but it is starting to crash. In the conversation that I saw over here, um, what was it that I wanted to bring up? Oh, they were talking about kegs. I looked into buying just a tanker truck, but the problem with the tanker truck, I had no way of, I couldn't get a refrigerator big enough to back the tanker truck in. So, uh, yeah, one beer a day. Just get a tanker truck. You'll be fine for the next couple months. Oh, I see Linnell put the little face in there. How are you? How are you? Better soon. Yeah. Like my brain's not even working. Uh, Dextrum scream in the middle of the night. Low blood sugar is dangerous. Yeah, I've been a type one diabetic for 26 years now. Um, it's not hereditary. My problem was I was a workaholic, and I worked 7 days a week, 15-hour days. Whether it was on rental properties or in the city working, and I ended up getting very sick. And at the time, I was under contract to finish a building that we were doing a bunch of custom woodwork in, and they pretty much told me I was going to get a $20,000 back charge if I did not complete the building at this date. Ended up working, and I knew something was wrong because the day that I passed out, went into a diabetic coma. I had already drank 3 gallons of water, and Lord only knows how many sodas. And I would go to the restroom, the porta john. I'd come back in the house, work 5 minutes, and then right back out. And it didn't matter what I did. I stayed thirsty. Uh, I remember I was welding steel scrolls under a handrail, and I woke up in Inova Hospital a week later. I went into a diabetic coma. Um, I was the highest blood sugar number they had seen to date. My blood sugar was 1,450, and they couldn't understand, one, how I lived through it, but the body's rescue system was coma. My body shut down and my body put me in a coma to try to save me. Evidently, it worked. Um, they did. They took a lot of blood out of me, put a lot of new blood in me, and a ton of fluids. And over a period of 5 days while I was in the coma, I did come out. And I set the record at the time at 1,450. Um, so that's my story on how I became a diabetic. I was sick, and I continued to work. And as the hospital explained to me, I had a virus in a lot of my internal organs. And my pancreas did start working again. But they told me that the virus had spread in all these different organs that I had, that it may or may not come back. And it did come back for 2 or 3 months, and then it stopped working. That's the story on how I become a diabetic. So, what I tell people is if you're ill and you keep pushing and you keep pushing and you keep pushing, your body's telling you to stop. Word of advice, stop. Nothing is worth it. I look at it, $20,000 back charge. You know what? I was in the hospital for a week and then I was off work for a month. I never got the back charge from the builder. Maybe they felt sorry for me. I don't know. Maybe they would have given me the back charge if I would have taken a week off work. I don't know. But that has seriously altered my life, if that makes sense. So, whatever we can do to take care of ourselves, and the old saying, once you hurt your back, it's never right afterwards. Once you lose an organ and it's dead, you can live without it. I'm proof. You can live without a lung. You can live without a kidney. But whatever organ is left, like if you're now breathing just through one lung, it's doing twice the workload. If your one kidney is bad, the other kidney has to offset with it. It just expedites that process of you going down. So I try to do the best I can with my sugar, but it's a disease. And I'm sure I'm talking a little slurred right now. I can feel it crashing. Oh my gosh, Vox. My back problems are behind me. Funny shit. Funny stuff. Sorry. Beep. We'll bleep that out later. Oh. Well, a lot actually transpired today. I think we kind of went over it. I wish I could kind of go over it, but Linnell told me maybe I shouldn't. So we're going to wait a week before we jump into what all transpired today. We'll just say it was a fun day. I actually enjoyed recording the content that I did today. I enjoyed going to the store. Had a really good conversation with the people that run the store. Again, I think I've said it a million times. If you've got a local music store and you can work with them and they're good people, support them. You're going to miss them when they're gone. So I can't say enough. My local store, Shandor Music, they've done a lot for me. So much today that we did something with them that it was just spur of the moment type thing, and they worked with us on it. They didn't have to, but they worked with us on it. We went in and said, look, we can do this if you can do that, and they said, sure. I didn't ask for too much. That's the key. Don't go into your store. Let's say you're wanting a $1,000 amp, and it's been there for a while. Don't insult them on it. Make them a decent offer. They have to make money. They got store rent, employees, insurance. They need to make money too. They didn't start that business to be in the soup line. Be respectful, and I think you might be surprised what your local store can do. They can be just as competitive as Sweetwater or a musician's friend. They can do it. They might not have the same mark that those other companies have, but they can do it. They really can. They might not always be able to nail your price, but if they're $50 over, guess what? I'm going to my local store. If $50 on $1,000, I'm buying it at my local store. I am. It's not worth that $50 to have it be shipped from Fort Wayne, Indiana to my home, and then have to pick up the phone and talk to this person and that person. If you get it at your local store, you can go right down and talk to them about an issue. That's where I say service comes in. Customer service is after the sale. If you have a problem, I've never had an issue with customer service at my local store. They've always taken care of me. Um, I just don't have an issue with it. I can say, can't, well, can't throw Sweetwater under the bus. They've taken care of me too. Here's the difference. I gotta wait, shipping this, shipping that, then does something get damaged here? I gotta make a couple phone calls. With my local store, I can go in, resolve it, it's done. If that makes sense. So I'm all about supporting the local store. If you can do it and you've got a good local store, support them. Listen, guys, I hate to cut it short tonight, but my shaking is getting a little worse, and I can't talk and also take care of my blood sugar. So I want to first apologize for that. But I do believe I do need to end the stream. I think we've went 2 hours. Have we went 2 hours? Trying to see.
Yeah, it's 11 minutes after 10.
Yeah. So we're good. I don't want to cut anyone short. A lot of people look forward. Well, I look forward to doing this on Saturday night. I look forward to seeing the people that I see to my right. I really do. You guys are like family, and you guys keep me straight, just like Kurt throwing me under the bus earlier. Oh, everyone uses a volume pedal. He's right. And that's what you guys are here for. If I start, and everybody does it. Everyone goes, well, what about this or what about that? There always has to be someone in the group that just goes, no one does that. We say we want that, but no one uses that. And I got to give kudos for Kurt for doing that. This channel is here to be honest. And if you have an honest statement on what works and that's what it's about. We don't want to get so far out in left or right field or down center that we lose track of what's honesty. And that's what the channel's supposed to be. The reviews are honest. Our opinions are supposed to be honest. Everyone has an opinion. And that opinion, if it's your opinion, that's an honest opinion. That's what we need. All right, guys, please go down and hit the thumbs up button for us. Please consider subscribing. And don't forget, we got Bob Ross here. And Bob Ross, that's a hard person to get in the channel. Oh, now Bob Ross has been hanging around Biden too much. All right, guys, please consider subscribing. Go down, hit the like button. It's about fun. I don't want to end the stream, but like I said, I've got to. I'm really starting to shake. I will be on Discord later tomorrow. So let's get on Discord. Juke, get on Discord. We can talk about one of the Kramers. And if you're just in, we have a double cut that we're finishing that has high-end pickups and high-end electronics. I've done a full fret level. The guitar is a hot rod. That guitar in a Gibson model would be $2,600. I just need to get parts out of it and no labor. All my labor's free. So if you're looking for a double cut with some Dylan Talkstone pickups, CTS pots, a wonderfully leveled fretboard and dressing, I've got the guitar for you once it's complete. It still needs the pick guard put on it, needs some tone knobs put on it, but it's going to be up for sale. And we have a Firefly that I planned on working on tonight, just didn't get around to it. It's the Tiger Burst body, the yellow with black. We're putting a Godot bridge in it. I got the parts to finish that. So hopefully maybe Thursday or next Saturday night we can start working on that guitar. Again, thanks so much, guys. Without you guys, it's not possible for me to do this without you all. You guys are what makes the stream. And again, it's about honesty. I don't care if the channel grows slow, but I want the channel to stay and stick to its roots. And that's honest reviews and honest, straightforward how-to videos on how to fix your guitar. And I'm not the master of anything. There's good people to the right. And if you have a skill that you think needs to be public, I'm willing to share the screen. We can do a split screen like Devastator and I did. Let's get the information out so other people can start modding their guitars. All right, guys, we're going to do our ending scene. And thanks, everybody, again, for coming and hanging out. It means a lot.